Just keep it. Yeah. Just keep it authentic TV where we only speak on facts. Just keep it authentic TV. We keep it real, no cap. Just keep it authentic TV where we keep it authentic. Just keep it authentic TV. We don't do no pretending. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Take a sit, enjoy the vibe. Yo. Like, share, subscribe. Take a sit, enjoy the vibe. Yo. Keep it authentic TV, where the facts outweigh the lies. Keep it authentic TV, where nothing but truth resides. Keep it authentic, share the vibe. Come enjoy the fun and don't forget to subscribe. Keep it authentic TV, where the facts outweigh the lies. Keep it authentic TV, where nothing but truth resides. Just keep it authentic, yeah. They keep it authentic. You can just keep it authentic, yeah. They keep it authentic. Just keep it authentic, yeah. Keep it authentic. Let me just keep it authentic, yeah. Keep it authentic, yeah. Hit the like button, share the vibe. Come and join the fun and don't forget to subscribe. Just keep it authentic TV. Just keep it authentic TV. Just keep it authentic. Just keep it authentic. Let's go. Let's go.
What's poppin', what's poppin', what's poppin'? Yeah, we back with another video, man. This will be my third video today. You know what I'm saying? So we on the road, man. We trying to get this content cranked out for y'all. And we trying to get the channel to grow and build the channel up, man. So with that being said, man, make sure y'all like, subscribe, share the video, hype the video. Let's bring awareness to the people out there, right? So today, in this video, right, we're going to be discussing a young man that goes by the name of Caleb Cage Lawson. And we're talking about an incident that happened in Aberdeen, North Carolina. Now, I'm not familiar with where Aberdeen, North Carolina is. So if you're familiar with Aberdeen, North Carolina, or you live in the Aberdeen, North Carolina area, feel free to get in the comments and let me know what you think about this situation. But this story pertains to a young white man who's 29 years old that was found hanging behind an Aberdeen, North Carolina shopping center, right? So now we've heard numerous stories in the news being broadcasted of all of these different hangings taking places all over the United States, right? So now we have yet another body found hanging somewhere, you know, which happens to be in Aberdeen, North Carolina this time. So with that being said, right, first I'm going to go ahead and read the article so we can all get a backstory on what took place, you know, with this incident, right? So let's get into the story. Okay, as you can see at the top, it says the Caleb Cage Lawson story. Okay, the story of Caleb Cage Lawson is one of a young man whose life was tragically cut short, found dead in a wooded area behind a shopping center in Aberdeen, North Carolina. Lawson's death has been reported as a suspected suicide despite the circumstances. The community and his family are mourning his loss. Caleb's life was marked by his public service career where he led soldiers in combat and managed complex policy initiatives. His story serves as a reminder of the impact of life events and the importance of cherishing the memories and relationships we have, with those we care about, right? So now, that's all that they pretty much had to say there, right? So now let me flip over and let me show you the image of this young man. This is him right here. This is the young man, Caleb Cage Lawson. This is what he looks like, you know, and let's see what else, they got to say about it. Okay, they don't really say much about it there. So let's go here and see if we can find some more. Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. All right. So let's read the incident overview. It says Caleb Cage Lawson was discovered at approximately 2:45 p.m. Hold on, let me shrink this out a little bit. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. I hope y'all can still see that, right? Okay, so the incident overview. Caleb Cage Lawson was discovered at approximately 2:45 p.m. on Saturday, August the 23rd. So this was literally 3 days ago. 3 days ago, this incident happened, right? So he was found in a wooded area about 75 yards behind the Center Park Shopping Center in Aberdeen, North Carolina. After authorities responded to the scene following reports of a body in the area, initial social media posts incorrectly identified the victim as black, but the Aberdeen Police Department clarified that Lawson was white. The official cause of death has not been yet determined, and the investigation remains open and active. Okay, so now let's read the investigation and the statements. The Aberdeen Police Department has described the death as a suspected suicide, emphasized that no final determination has been made regarding the cause or manner of death. Okay, let's stop right there, right? Let's stop right there for a minute, right? Now, as we just read earlier in this previous statement up here in the incident overview, this last part right here says the official cause of death has not yet been determined and the investigation remains open. But then what we see in the investigation and the official statements, they have already labeled this death as a suspected suicide. So y'all see the pattern here? Do y'all see the pattern here? The pattern is that, listen, this is happening all over the United States of America, and they're all being ruled as suicide attempts or, self-inflicted. And, this is a pattern, right? So once again, the question remains is that if there's no manner or cause of death determined, why do you go public and make a statement and say this is a suspected suicide? Okay, we're not asking you to give us what you suspect may happen. What we're asking for you to give us is the truth on what actually took place. And the order for you to figure that out, right? That means you have to actively investigate the incident and you have to gather up the evidence and you have to take the evidence that you gather, right? And then you have an autopsy done, and then you can determine what the cause and manner of death was. So if the evidence points to a suspected suicide, the autopsy reports to a suspected suicide, then that's what it is, right? We have to accept that for what it is. But now we're going to read this again, right? Now, once again, in the previous statement, the last part of that statement says the official cause of death has not yet been determined and the investigation remains open. But then they follow that up by saying the Aberdeen Police Department has described the death as a suspected suicide, but emphasized that no final determination has been made regarding the cause or manner of death, right? So if there's no final determination of cause and manner of death, then you shouldn't go public and make any sort of statement. And this is what we see happen time and time again. This is exactly what Sheriff Ledbetter in the Nolan Wells case, this is exactly what he did. As soon as Nolan Wells' body was recovered, he immediately went public and said that this is an accidental drowning without there being any type of investigation, autopsy, or toxicology report done. And this is why people are publicly outraged at situations like this, right? Now, I decided to report on this story first and foremost because I want people to understand that, yes, I am a black man, but first and foremost, I believe that all lives matter, not just black lives, not just white lives, not just Latino lives, not just African lives, not just, whatever your ethnicity or your racial background is, right? All lives matter, right? But I'm also running into a situation to where I'm getting very tired of people coming into my broadcast and criticizing me or trying to make it seem like that I only report on black stories. You know what I'm saying? Which is not the case. You know what I'm saying? I report on stories that are being popularly talked about all over social media, all over the news. I also report on stories that are not being talked about on social media or in the news like that. So if you was to go to my channel, right, and the name of my channel is Keep It Authentic TV, you can go on my page, right? Right now I have about, 16, 17 videos on there, right? Now, yes, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there aren't some videos that may have racial undertones, attached to them, but unfortunately, that's the way of the world. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I can't change the world by myself, right? But I'm not going to ramble on about that, right? I just want people to understand, like, I don't just report on black news. I report on news in general. So we're going to continue reading this article, right? So once again, it says the Aberdeen Police Department has described the death as a suspected suicide, but emphasized that no final determination has been made regarding the cause or manner of death. Police expressed sympathy for Lawson's family and loved ones and noted that they typically do not publicize suspected suicides. Authorities continue to investigate and additional details may be released as the inquiry progresses, right? Okay, so similar to the Nolan Wells case. They're not really releasing much information. They're just basically telling the public and telling the family and whatever that, okay, listen, additional details will be made, public, as we get them. You know what I'm saying? So now it says the community and personal remembrance. Caleb's passing has deeply affected his family, friends, and the Aberdeen community. Tribute highlights the impact he had on those around him, emphasizing cherished memories and the profound grief felt by loved ones. While limited information is publicly available about his personal background, career, or interests, the focus has been on honoring his life and the relationships he built. Community members and family are encouraged to remember Caleb beyond the circumstances of his death, finding comfort in shared memories and the positive influence he had on others, right? So, for all intensive purposes, right, this young man is described as somebody that was pretty much, for the lack of better words, a upstanding citizen of the community, right? Now, yes, they stated that there are no public records of, his personal background or his career or interests like that, right? Okay, and pretty much that stuff is irrelevant, right? Because it's like, I feel like this, right? If a person is, hiding who they really are, right? Eventually, some sort of information is going to come out to prove that, right? So for these people to say, hey, for the most part, He was an upstanding citizen. I think they said that he had a military background. I believe they said. But for the most part, his community loved him. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really has anything bad to say about him. You know what I'm saying? So now we're going to look at the key takeaways from this case. It says Caleb Cage Lawson was 29 years old at the time of his death. He was found in a wooded area behind Center Park Shopping Center in Aberdeen, North Carolina. Authorities are investigating the death as a suspected suicide, but the official cause has not been confirmed. So once again, we see that same statement coming up. Authorities are investigating the death as a suspected suicide. So once again, my question would be, like, how are you investigating a suspected suicide when you don't know what the cause or manner of death is? You know what I'm saying? See, this is how situations and stories like this get blown out of proportion. And this is also how the racial undertones get brought into things, right? Because when you have the very people that took a sworn oath to serve and protect us, the people of the communities that they serve and work in, right? Okay, you cannot find a body hanging from somewhere and just automatically assume that it was suicide. Okay, listen, you have to do proper investigation and you have to take proper steps that law enforcement is trained to do in order to determine what actually took place, right? So, yes, I have an issue with them saying authorities are investigating the death as a suspected suicide, because right then and there, you're just automatically assuming that he did this to himself. You know what I'm saying? Before you even have any concrete facts or evidence to prove otherwise, you're just automatically assuming something. And I don't think that that's right. So, once again, right, I want my people to understand, right, that this is not a black or white thing. This is just a life thing in general. Like I said earlier, all lives matter, right? So, I want people to clearly understand that I have the same questions about this young man's case that I have about the Nolan Wells case, right? Because in the Nolan Wells case, that's exactly the same statement that they gave the public. This was an accidental drowning. Now, in this case, which is 3 days ago, they're doing the same thing. Now, let's not forget the history of a lot of these states in the South. You know what I'm saying? I explain this and I stress this, right? Because I want people to do their own research and I want people to do their own due diligence and try to figure out for yourself why the racial undertones get brought into situations like this. Why people like the black community speak out when they feel like something is wrong being done to them, right? You know what I'm saying? Because listen, let's make this very clear, right? White folks speak out against stuff just as much as black folks do. It's just unfortunate that black folks happen to be the topic of the news right now, right? And I can't explain to you why that is. You know what I'm saying? That is something of a personal matter that we have to really dig deep into what the root of the problem is, right? And if we keep fighting amongst each other and making this a black and white thing, we're never going to come to common ground, right? So, with that being said, we're going to continue reading this article, right? And hopefully we can get some better insight into what happened to this young man, right? Rest in peace to Caleb Cage Lawson. My condolences go out to his family and his loved ones. I hope that y'all get the justice and the answers that y'all deserve. But with that being said, let's continue. It says social media misinformation initially misidentified his race, which was later corrected by the police. Okay, like at the end of the day, right? I'm not surprised by that. This is what social media does time and time again. Social media in the Nolan Wells case has convicted these boys and, said that they're guilty of taking this young man's life, but there is no facts and no evidence proving that. So this is what social media does. This is what the court of public opinion does. We take the information that we're given or the information that we can gather, right? And what we do is we form our own opinion of what we think may have happened. We form our own speculation of what we think may have happened. And unfortunately, a lot of times, once you make that information public and you make that narrative public, people run with the narrative. It doesn't matter if the narrative is true or factually based or any of that. It's just once the narrative is out there, then people run with it because, listen, nobody wants to hear the truth because a lie is more entertaining. Let me say that again, right? Nobody likes to hear the truth because a lie is more entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, this is what people in social media do. People get on social media and they don't care if what they see is a lie or the truth. They just see it as a juicy narrative and they just like, yeah, I'm going to run with this narrative. I'm going to repost this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's where I believe the problem comes in at, right? Because there's people that want to sit here and try to play both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? Where on one hand, listen, let's make this very clear, right? No black person is going to let a white person dog their race, just like no white person is going to let a black person dog their race. So let's make that very clear, right? So, in order to overcome that type of mentality, right, you have to be accepting of other people's opinions and perspectives. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. But at the end of the day, you have to accept it, right? Because if we continue to sit here and fight amongst each other about who's right and who's wrong, and who's telling the truth and who's lying, then where does the common ground come in at? Where does the common solution come in? How do we even get to the solution? Listen, I try to tell people, right? Racism will still exist when we're dead and gone. It ain't going nowhere. It's too deeply rooted in a lot of these people's lives. It's too deeply rooted in a lot of these states in the deep south. You know what I'm saying? Go research the history for yourself, right? Go research the history of states like Mississippi, Louisiana, North Carolina, Alabama, Arkansas. Go research the history of these type of states, right? You know what I'm saying? And then maybe you'll get a better understanding of why these situations and why these questions keep coming up time and time again, right? But now let's continue with this article because we almost done with it. And like I said, this video is not going to be very long because this just happened 3 days ago. So there's not a whole lot of information out there about it yet. But I just felt like, I wanted to bring it to the table and I wanted to shed some light on this situation because once again, I'm tired of people coming at me thinking that I only report about black people, right? Just because I'm black. Like that pisses me off very, very, very much. And like I've already made the decision to, when I encounter those types of people, right? Because look, at the end of the day, this is my channel. Nobody's helping me build this channel but myself. So at the end of the day, I feel like this. If you do not like the content that I'm posting, then you do not have to watch it. You do not have to come in any of my live broadcasts. You do not have to support me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But what I am not going to allow people to do is I am not going to allow people to come in my broadcast and be disrespectful, you know what I'm saying, and display that type of behavior when you actually really don't know what's really going on. So we're going to go ahead and continue with the rest of this article, right? The community remembers him for a positive impact he had on his family, friends, and neighbors. Caleb Cage Lawson's story is a reminder of the importance of compassion, accurate reporting, and support for those affected by tragic losses. His life and memory continue to be honored by those who knew him, right? So now we've read the story. I don't know if a lot of y'all have are familiar with this story, but like I said, I seen the story, and I actually just had this story come across my desk maybe about 10, 15 minutes ago, right? And once I seen the story, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to report on this. I'm going to run content on this, right? Not just because of the fact that I'm tired of people, you know, accusing me of only running black content, but just for the simple fact that I'm trying to show people that. My bad, y'all. I don't know what that noise was. I had to see what it is. But like I was saying, right? Um, once again, I'm tired of people coming at me like I only report on black news. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you go to my channel, right, you will see a number of videos on there. I did a video on the Gabrielle Ayers girl out of Chicago. I did a video on a teen out of Minnesota that was shot because, he posted a large bag of money on the internet. You know what I'm saying? None of those videos had anything to do with race, right? And there's quite a few videos on my page that doesn't have anything to do with race. Unfortunately, yes, there are a few Nolan Wells videos on my page, but once again, I'm not the one making this a race issue. I cannot change the opinions of other people. Yes, I open up the dialogue to anybody. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people, listen, you are free to have your own opinion and your own perspective of things, right? But if I'm the type of person I understand, listen, some people are set in their ways, and nothing that you say is going to get them to change anything. So it's like at the end of the day, right? You know, I just look at situations and I understand that, listen, everything doesn't warrant a reaction. You know what I'm saying? And everything is not worth my time and energy, right? So once again, like I said, this video is not going to be very long. I'm probably going to go ahead and end it right here. But once again, I want to say my condolences goes out to this young man's family, you know, and I want to say to the young man who is the victim, Caleb Cage Lawson, listen, I'm deeply sorry that your life ended in such a manner that it did. Like I wish, that your family and loved ones receive the justice, if there is any justice to be received. You know, I pray for your family that they have the strength to be able to overcome this situation and continue moving on in your memory. You know what I'm saying? But once again, I just wanted to shed some light on this situation, and hopefully this will get people to understand that, listen, this is not just about a black and white thing. This happens all over America to a lot of different people. You know, now unfortunately, it's a young white man this time. But now, you know what I'm saying, you know, who's the next victim to be found hung? What's going to happen then? Like, instead of fighting about black and white, let's try to find out what the root of the problem is. Let's try to find out how we can prevent things from like this happening again. Like, because these things are happening time and time again, over and over. Like, if you look at the news right now, there's probably been about 7, 8 different reportings of hangings all over the United States of America. And the majority of them are being labeled the same way: suspected suicide, self inflicted. I think out of all the ones I've seen, there was only one that wasn't ruled like that. But all of the other cases are being ruled as self inflicted or suicide, right? And like I said, these cases, these statements are being made before any investigation happens. So of course, you can expect people to speak out and ask questions when you're making statements publicly saying that this is a suspected suicide, but then you follow that up by saying what? But the official cause and manner of death is yet to be determined. So, what information do you have other than the fact that this person was found hanging? Outside of that, what information do you have that would lead you to believe that this was something that this person done to their self? And that's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of these officials coming out and trying to sweep these cases under the rug like they're just going to go away. No, the public is tired of it. The communities are tired of it. You know, society in general are tired of going through these types of situations time and time again. Now we're going to start holding people accountable. If we got to go from the bottom all the way to the top, we're going to start holding people accountable. We're not going to just let you people keep sweeping these cases under the rug, you know. And no, we're not going to continue to go for that, right? So once again, right, my condolences go out to his family, you know what I'm saying? And I want everybody to like, share the video, man, hype the video. We have to get this awareness out to people, right? We have to preach the message to people that all lives matter, not just black or white. All lives matter, right? So once again, make sure y'all like, make sure y'all share, hype the video, subscribe to the channel, man. It's your boy Blanco with another episode of Keep It Authentic TV. Until the next one, man, I'll see y'all later.